The Machiavelli Code, 12 Laws of Power, Discipline, and Self-Mastery. How to build ruthless focus, unshakable control, and an untouchable mind in a distracted world. Introduction: The Machiavellian Mirror. They told you Machiavelli was dangerous. They warned you his name was synonymous with manipulation, deception, and cold ambition. But they never told you the truth. Machiavelli was not writing only for princes. He was writing for men who sought sovereignty over their kingdoms, over their people, and most importantly, over themselves. This book is not about politics. It is about power. Not the kind granted by titles, armies, or wealth, but the kind forged in silence, in discipline, and in the refusal to be controlled. The modern world wages a war for your mind. Distraction, validation, and weakness have become the weapons of control. And if you do not guard yourself, you will be ruled, not by kings, but by algorithms, applause, and the shallow expectations of others. Machiavelli's lessons, stripped of their political skin, reveal a doctrine of self-mastery. He understood that no man can rule outwardly if he cannot command inwardly. The fox and the lion, the mask and the substance, the discipline and the cunning. These are not strategies for courts and thrones alone. They are strategies for living with precision and building an unshakable self. This is not a book of comfort. It is a manual for clarity. You will not find encouragement to be yourself here. You will be commanded to become sovereign, to discipline your time, sharpen your silence, guard your energy, and dominate your mission. And by the end, you will carry more than ideas. You will carry laws that, if lived by, will separate you from the weak and elevate you into the rare territory of the untouchable. So step into the Machiavellian mirror. See yourself as you are now, distracted, divided, diluted. Then break that reflection and begin the work of becoming sovereign. Chapter 1. Discipline as Fortress. Every empire falls the same way, not from invasion, but from neglect. The walls crumble, the gates rust, the guards grow lazy. Then the enemy walks in without resistance. Your life is no different. Your walls are your discipline. If they are weak, you will be conquered, not by armies, but by distractions, excuses, and wasted hours. Most men are unguarded. They let anyone and anything storm through their gates. Notifications, doubts, comfort, laziness. Every indulgence chips away at their defenses. And when the walls collapse, they wonder why they feel powerless. But the disciplined man? He is a fortress. He doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" He acts, because the action is required. He doesn't wait for motivation. He builds systems that demand execution. He doesn't gamble his future on moods. He forges it with structure. Understand this. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protection. Every hour you control is a stone in your wall. Every repeated habit is mortar sealing the cracks. Every refusal to indulge weakness is another guard placed at the gate. And soon, your fortress becomes unbreakable, not because you avoided attack, but because you prepared for it. The law of discipline. Guard your hours. Do not give them cheaply to scrolling, gossip, or meaningless chatter. Treat your time as currency no one can afford. 2. Act without permission. Do not wait for inspiration, approval, or a perfect mood. Move, execute, strike. 3. Eliminate weakness early. Laziness tolerated once becomes standard. Excuses ignored once become routine. Crush them on sight. Most men lose before the battle begins because their walls are already down. They chase goals but bleed time. They talk about change but defend their excuses. Their lives are open cities, easy to invade, easy to control. Not you. You will build walls so high that distraction breaks against them. Gates so strong that weakness cannot enter. Routines so sharp that failure cannot live inside them. Write this law into yourself. My discipline is my fortress. No one enters unless I allow it. No excuse survives unless I destroy it. Because once discipline is unshakable, everything else, focus, silence, power, can finally be built. Chapter 2. The Lion and the Fox Within. Machiavelli warned, "The man who is only strong will be deceived. The man who is only clever will be devoured. Power belongs to the one who can be both, lion and fox." Look around. Most men choose one. The brute who flexes strength but falls for every trick. The sly talker who spots traps but never dares to strike. Both are predictable. Both are weak. You cannot afford predictability. The lion is your force. It is presence, certainty, the ability to say, "This is my line, and it will not be crossed." Lions don't beg for respect. They enforce it. Not with constant noise, but with an aura that warns, "Do not test me." But lions fall for snares. They smash forward, blind to subtlety, strong but reckless. The fox is your cunning. It is awareness, calculation, the ability to see what others miss. Foxes survive by reading the room, by watching the details, by sidestepping the traps that consume the blind. But foxes lack teeth. They outthink, but never outfight. Clever, but forgettable. Machiavelli's truth is brutal. You must become both. Lion in action, fox in perception, strength with strategy, teeth with timing. This is the formula. When challenged, be lion, clear, decisive, unshakable. When deceived, be fox, quiet, patient, aware. When opportunity appears, be both. Strike with force, but choose the moment with precision. You do not tell people which one you are. You let them wonder. You let them fear the uncertainty. Is he going to strike, or is he watching me walk into my own trap? That doubt is your weapon. The law of duality. 1. Test yourself. Do you lean too much on strength? Then train silence and observation. Do you lean too much on cunning? Then train presence and execution. 2. Shift at will. Never let your default side rule you. Decide consciously. Lion or fox. Force or finesse. 3. Stay unreadable. The moment others can predict your move, you've already lost. Confuse them. Keep them guessing. Let them prepare for a roar, then disappear into the shadows. Let them think you're harmless, then strike with precision. Strength alone makes you blunt. Cunning alone makes you hollow. Together, they make you dangerous. So write it down as law. I am lion and I am fox. I strike when it matters. I wait when it's wise. No one knows which I will be until it's too late. This is not balance. This is domination. Chapter 3. The Power of Silence. Weak men shout. Strong men watch. The loudest in the room is never the one in control. It is the one desperate to be noticed. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is strategy. It is the pause before the strike, the calm before the storm, the stillness that unnerves everyone around you. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. The man who reacts instantly reveals his strings. The man who can remain unreadable controls the room without saying a word. Most people are addicts. Addicted to reacting, addicted to defending themselves, addicted to explaining their every move. They bleed power because they cannot stand the weight of silence. They feel the need to fill it with noise. But noise is weakness. Noise is surrender. The disciplined man makes silence his weapon. He doesn't need to respond to every insult. He doesn't need to correct every opinion. He doesn't need to explain himself to fools. He lets his stillness work for him. And that stillness terrifies people because it cannot be measured, predicted, or controlled. The law of silence. 1. Say less. See more. Every time you remain quiet, you observe what others try to hide. They reveal themselves while you conserve your power. 2. Do not react. The first man to flinch always loses. Train your emotions like soldiers. No response unless it serves your mission. 3. Let results speak. Words convince no one for long. Results echo louder than any argument. Build so powerfully that you do not need to announce yourself. When they cannot read you, they fear you. When they cannot provoke you, they lose leverage. When they cannot predict you, they exhaust themselves trying to figure you out. Your silence is not passivity. It is control. It is the ability to act with precision while others waste energy on noise. It is the difference between the man who reacts and the man who rules. So engrave this law into yourself. My silence is my weapon. I do not react. I do not explain. I move only when it matters. Noise fades. Silence endures. And in that silence, your power multiplies. Chapter 4. Guarding against disrespect. Disrespect is not a joke. It is not small. It is not harmless. Disrespect is an invasion, an enemy scout testing the walls of your fortress. The first time it happens, it is a question. Will he allow this? The second time, it is an answer. Yes, he will. By the third time, it is no longer a test. It is law, and you have written it yourself by silence. Machiavelli understood this better than most. He warned that injuries must never be slight. Either treat men generously or destroy them completely, because slight wounds create enemies who will never stop haunting you. That truth applies not just to politics, but to your daily life. Every tolerated act of disrespect is a wound that festers, weakens, and invites more. Weak men confuse tolerance with strength. They believe ignoring slights makes them noble. They believe patience makes them wise. But there is no wisdom in allowing decay. A fortress does not crumble in a day. It rots from small cracks left unrepaired. Every insult you ignore, every boundary you fail to enforce, every time you laugh off what cut you, that is a crack in your wall. Soon the walls collapse, and your authority with it. Respect is not requested. Respect is never asked for. Respect is enforced. The man who begs for it will never receive it. The man who sets standards so sharp, so undeniable, that violation carries consequences. He never has to beg. And make this clear. Enforcement does not require rage. The outburst is weakness. It reveals that you are shaken. Enforcement requires cold precision. You do not explode. You do not argue. You do not plead. You act with clarity. You respond with finality. If someone mocks you in private, you correct them in private. If someone mocks you in public, you correct them in public. Not to humiliate them, but to make the line visible to all. From that moment forward, no one doubts what you allow. The law of respect. 1. Never let it slide. The first violation you ignore becomes the standard. Stop it immediately. Small cracks destroy kingdoms. 2. Respect yourself. First, if you tolerate laziness, excuses, and weakness in yourself, others will reflect it back to you. Internal disrespect breeds external disrespect. 3. Correct calmly. Emotion exposes you. Precision empowers you. Show no anger, only standards enforced like iron. 4. Draw the line publicly when needed. If someone disrespects you before others, let your response set the record in stone. A single decisive correction saves you 1,000 future challenges. The enemy within. But the greatest source of disrespect is not from others. It is from yourself. Every time you set a goal and fail to act, you disrespect your own word. Every time you allow weakness to rule you, you mock your own mission. And if you cannot respect yourself, why should anyone else respect you? Do not lie to yourself and expect truth from the world. Do not indulge weakness in private and demand strength in public. Guard against self-disrespect with the same fury you would guard against any enemy, because it is the first and most dangerous invader. The man who enforces, when you refuse to tolerate disrespect, something shifts. People move differently around you, not out of fear of punishment, but out of recognition that you are a man of standards. They know where your line is, and they know it is not to be crossed. Your silence commands. Your standards command, your presence commands. And if someone tests you anyway, your calm enforcement ends the question forever. The creed of respect. Engrave this into your life. I never tolerate disrespect from others or from myself. What I allow once, I allow forever. My standards are not suggestions. They are law. Weak men lose because they seek to be liked. Strong men win because they refuse to be disrespected. Draw your lines, enforce them. Let the world learn that your respect is not negotiable, not today, not ever. Chapter 5. Leverage through self-focus. Power does not come from applause. Power comes from leverage. Machiavelli knew this. Men are not moved by kindness or charm, but by what they cannot afford to lose. Rulers did not survive because they were loved. They survived because they controlled resources, influence, and outcomes. In your life, the greatest leverage you can build is not over others. It is over yourself. The man who focuses on himself with cold obsession becomes irreplaceable. He sharpens his mind until it cuts through confusion. He builds skills until no one can compete. He cultivates discipline until nothing breaks him. And when the world looks around, they see what they cannot find anywhere else. A man who is complete. That is leverage, but most men never reach it. They scatter their attention like coins in the street, given freely to gossip, to trends, to endless distractions. They burn their hours proving themselves in arguments that don't matter, showing off to people who don't care, chasing relevance instead of results. And when it is time to stand tall, they have nothing left to stand on. Their weakness comes from one fatal mistake. They built outward before they built inward. You cannot control others if you cannot first control yourself. You cannot demand respect if you have not earned your own. You cannot lead if you cannot even lead your mind. Self-focus is not selfish. It is survival. The man who builds himself becomes leverage. The man who neglects himself becomes expendable. The law of leverage through focus. 1. Withdraw energy from the worthless. Every time you invest attention in gossip, validation, or trends, you pour water into sand. Cut the leaks. Stop feeding the noise. 2. Invest obsessively in self. Read when others scroll. Train when others sleep. Create when others consume. Every quiet hour compounds into future dominance. 3. Become irreplaceable. Build skills, knowledge, and systems so strong that no one can discard you. When they look for alternatives, they will find none. 4. Guard the throne. Your focus is your crown. If anyone can snatch it with a notification, a cheap insult, or a distraction, you are not a king. You are a pawn. This is psychological warfare at its highest level. Let others drown in relevance. Let them fight for scraps of attention. You will not join them. You will build yourself until your absence is expensive, until your silence is unbearable, until your presence alone shifts the atmosphere. That is the kind of leverage no one can buy. History proves this. Men remembered for centuries are not those who shouted the loudest, but those who focused deeply. Thinkers who mastered philosophy. Warriors who mastered combat. Builders who mastered vision. They gave their energy to one path and bled out everything else. That is why their names carved themselves into stone while the loud chatter of their time vanished into dust. And you, if you want to matter, you must do the same. The creed of focus. Write this into yourself as law. My focus is my throne. I build myself until I become leverage. I refuse to scatter my strength. I refuse to beg for relevance. My absence is expensive, and my presence is undeniable. Because when you finally master self-focus, you no longer chase power. Power chases you. Chapter 6. Command of time. You can recover money. You can rebuild strength. You can repair reputation. But you cannot buy back time. Once an hour is gone, it is gone forever. That is why time is the sharpest currency of power. Machiavelli knew that fortune bends to the man who is prepared. But preparation requires time. And here is the brutal truth. Most men waste theirs. They leak it in meaningless conversations, shallow entertainments, endless scrolling, and pointless pursuits. They burn through hours as if they are infinite, never realizing they are gambling with the only asset they cannot restore. Time does not forgive. Time does not negotiate. Time does not return. The kingdom of hours. Imagine your day as a kingdom. Each hour is a soldier under your command. You have 24, no more, no less. If you do not lead them, they scatter, they desert. They are captured by others who command your attention. Weak men allow their hours to defect. They give them away to people who don't deserve them, to distractions that don't reward them, to impulses that weaken them. By the end of the day, they have nothing left. Empty, defeated. Strong men command their hours with ruthless clarity. Every soldier has a task. Every task serves the mission. No energy is wasted. And when the day ends, their army returns victorious. The difference between wasted time and commanded time is the difference between mediocrity and mastery. The law of commanding time. 1. Audit relentlessly. Where do your hours go? Track them. Account for them. If you don't control where your time flows, someone else already does. 2. Prioritize with steel. Not all hours are equal. Protect your peak hours like treasure. Spend them on creation, building, learning, not consumption or distraction. 3. Destroy thieves. Every unnecessary meeting, every notification, every pointless interaction is theft. Guard your hours like gold. 4. Build routines as armor. Structure is freedom. When your body and mind execute by code, time bends in your favor. The illusion of busy. Most men confuse movement with progress. They mistake activity for achievement. They fill their days with busyness to avoid the guilt of wasted time. But busyness is just another form of distraction. 10 hours of shallow tasks will never equal 1 hour of deep, focused work. Busyness is noise. Commanded time is signal. The man who commands time does less, but achieves infinitely more. His actions compound. His results scale. While others drown in chaos, he moves with precision. Time as power. Here is the Machiavellian edge. When people realize you do not waste time, they fear you. They know you will not waste power. They know every interaction must justify itself. Your time becomes expensive. Your presence becomes rare. Your hours become leverage. The man who wastes time is a servant to the world. The man who commands time forces the world to serve him. The creed of time. Write this into yourself as law. I command my hours. My time is my army. No minute is surrendered. No hour is wasted. My time serves me, never the world. Because once you master time, you master preparation. Once you master preparation, fortune bends. And once fortune bends, power is no longer an accident. It is inevitable. Chapter 7. Emotional detachment as weapon. The world will test you. Not with swords, but with triggers, with disrespectful words, with subtle provocations, with insults designed to see if they still own you. Most men fail this test. They react instantly. They argue to prove themselves. They explode in anger. They beg for validation. And the moment they do, they surrender control. Because when someone can provoke you at will, they own you. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He wrote that men are governed by two forces, love and fear. Love is fickle. Fear is reliable. And nothing makes a man feared more than his ability to remain calm when others lose themselves. Emotional detachment is not coldness. It is clarity. It is the ability to see the game without being moved by it. It is the difference between the soldier who panics in chaos and the commander who sees the whole battlefield. The trap of reaction. Weak men are addicts, addicted to being understood, addicted to defending their pride, addicted to expressing every feeling. They think emotions make them authentic, but really, emotions make them predictable. Predictable men are easy to control. One insult and they explode. One rejection and they crumble. One disappointment and they quit. These are not men. They are puppets pulled by strings of emotion. The world doesn't respect them. It manipulates them. The detached edge? The man who is emotionally detached cannot be baited. He does not respond to provocation unless it serves his strategy. He does not reveal what disturbs him. He does not broadcast his weaknesses. He observes. He waits. He chooses his moves with precision. When others scream, he is silent. When others panic, he is still. When others lash out, he watches. His calmness unnerves them. His unreadable face terrifies them. This is not suppression, it is mastery. The law of emotional detachment. 1. Never react instantly. Train yourself to pause. The first man to react always loses. 2. Guard your triggers. If they know what offends you, they own you. If they know what excites you, they control you. Hide both. 3. Respond only with purpose. Every reaction must serve your long game. If it doesn't build leverage, you remain silent. 4. Detach. Do not numb. Detachment is not the absence of feeling. It is the refusal to let feeling dictate action. The unreadable man. Imagine walking into a storm, and while others are running for cover, one man stands still, calm, unshaken, unreadable. Who do you fear more, the one screaming or the one who does not flinch? That is the power of detachment. Stillness terrifies, silence confuses, calmness commands. And when the world cannot read you, it cannot control you. The creed of detachment. Write this into yourself as law. I control my emotions. No one owns my reactions. I do not flinch. I do not break. I respond only when it strengthens my power. Because the moment you master detachment, you remove the world's strongest weapon against you. And when you can no longer be provoked, you become the most dangerous man in the room. Chapter 8. The Mask of Perception. Power is not just what you are. Power is what people believe you are. Machiavelli understood this with ruthless clarity. He wrote that rulers must learn to appear merciful, faithful, humane, honest, and religious, even if they were not. Why? Because appearance shapes reality. People follow what they see, not what is hidden. This truth is not only for kings, it is for you. Every man wears a mask, whether he admits it or not. Some wear masks unconsciously, pretending to be strong, pretending to be happy, pretending to be confident, while the cracks show. But the wise man wears masks deliberately. He decides what the world sees. He controls the narrative. He uses perception as armor. The danger of transparency. Weak men boast about being real. They reveal every emotion, every thought, every insecurity. They call it authenticity. But what they really offer is ammunition. The world does not reward transparency. The world exploits it. When you show every card, you will be played. When you show every weakness, you will be targeted. When you reveal your entire self, you leave nothing sacred to protect. Not everyone deserves the truth of who you are. The power of masks. The strong man builds layers. To enemies, he appears stronger than he feels. To doubters, he appears certain when he is uncertain. To rivals, he appears calm when he is calculating. This is not deception. It is survival. The mask does not mean you are fake. It means you are strategic. You can still be authentic in action while being selective in exposure. Authenticity is living by your principles, but exposure is a weapon, and you do not hand weapons to strangers. The mask protects your weaknesses. The mask multiplies your presence. The mask creates mystery. And mystery is power. People fear what they cannot read. They respect what they cannot predict. The law of perception. 1. Control the image. Do not let the world decide what you are. Decide it yourself. Curate how you are seen. 2. Reveal with precision. Show strength, hide weakness. Share only what builds your leverage. 3. Maintain mystery. Do not explain everything. Do not reveal your plans. Keep them guessing. Uncertainty is fear. 4. Shift masks when needed. Be lion when strength is required. Be fox when cunning is demanded. Never let them know which one you truly are. The man behind the mask. The truth is simple. Perception moves faster than reality. Long before you achieve mastery, you can project it. Long before you hold total control, you can appear untouchable. And in many cases, that appearance alone is enough to shape outcomes in your favor. History is filled with men who commanded more respect through image than through raw ability. They understood that power is not only what you hold, it is what others believe you hold. The mask is not weakness. The mask is leverage. The creed of perception. Write this into yourself as law. I control perception. I reveal only what strengthens me. They see what I allow. They never see the whole. Because when you master the mask, you stop being readable. And when you stop being readable, you stop being controllable. Chapter 9. The Power of Absence. Weak men believe power comes from being everywhere, always available, always present, always seen. They crave attention like air. They fear being forgotten. But here is the Machiavellian truth. The more available you are, the less you are valued. Presence without scarcity becomes noise. Absence, when controlled, becomes power. Machiavelli understood that rulers who made themselves too common lost authority. Familiarity breeds contempt. The more people see you, the less they fear you. The more they can reach you, the less they respect you. This is not only political law, it is personal law. The trap of constant presence. Modern men destroy their power by being everywhere at once. They post constantly, chasing relevance. They answer every message instantly, desperate to be liked. They say yes to everything, terrified of missing out. But constant presence makes you predictable. It makes you cheap. And cheap things are never respected. A man who cannot say no becomes everyone's servant. A man who cannot withdraw becomes everyone's toy. The scarcity principle: absence is not neglect, it is strategy. When you remove yourself, your value rises. When you are no longer easy to reach, people lean forward. When you choose scarcity, your presence becomes a reward, not a commodity. Absence sharpens respect. People appreciate what is not constant. Absence creates mystery. They wonder where you are, what you're building, what you're planning. Absence protects focus. Without constant noise, you rebuild yourself in silence. You do not disappear to run. You disappear to rise. The law of absence. 1. Withdraw strategically. Step back not in weakness, but in purpose. Your absence must serve growth. 2. Return with results. Disappear to build. Reappear stronger. Let silence carry work and return with proof. 3. Make presence expensive. Do not give your time, attention, or energy freely. The rarer it is, the more it commands. 4. Never fear being forgotten. Weak men chase visibility. Strong men chase legacy. Legacy is not built by being seen. It is built by being remembered. The fear you create? The most unnerving man is not the one always speaking, always posting, always performing. It is the one who vanishes into silence and returns transformed, stronger, sharper, unrecognizable. People will talk while you're gone. They will speculate. They will doubt. They will laugh. Let them. Their noise is proof they feel your absence. Their unease is proof your scarcity works. And when you return, calm, built, undeniable, the room will fall silent, because your absence made your presence heavier than words. The creed of absence. Write this into yourself as law. I make my absence expensive and my presence undeniable. I withdraw to build. I return with results. Because the man who learns to vanish on purpose and reappear with power becomes unforgettable. Chapter 10. Fortune and Preparedness. Most men wait for luck. They sit idle, hoping opportunity will knock, praying fortune will favor them. But fortune does not serve the idle. Fortune serves the prepared. Machiavelli saw it clearly. Fortune is a storm. It cannot be stopped, but it can be harnessed. The unprepared man is drowned by it. The prepared man rides it to victory. This truth has not changed. In the modern world, storms of opportunity strike every day. New openings, new chances, new moments of decision. But only the man who is ready, armed with skill and structure, can seize them. The rest call it bad luck, when in reality, it was their lack of preparation. The myth of luck. Weak men cling to luck like a crutch. They wait for a break. They hope to be discovered. They wish for things beyond their control. And because they depend on chance, they remain powerless. Strong men do not wait. They prepare relentlessly so that when fortune arrives, they do not hesitate. To others, it looks like luck. To them, it is inevitability. There is no right moment. The moment is made right by the man who is ready. The power of preparedness. Preparation is more than planning. It is sharpening yourself daily so that when the call comes, you are already lethal. Preparedness means skill. You master your craft until you cannot be ignored. Preparedness means discipline. You build routines that make execution automatic. Preparedness means anticipation. You study patterns so you can see the storm before it arrives. The prepared man doesn't chase fortune. Fortune bends to him because he is ready to act the instant it appears. The law of fortune and preparedness. 1. Train in obscurity. Do the work no one sees. Study when others are distracted. Build while others waste time. Fortune favors the man already armed. 2. Expect the storm. Do not fear disruption. Do not wait for stability. The storm is constant. Prepare anyway. 3. Move immediately. When opportunity appears, hesitation kills. Act fast. Action is ownership. 4. Adapt with strength. Fortune is chaos. Plans break. The prepared man bends without breaking. The illusion of surprise. The world will call your rise sudden. They will say you got lucky. But you will know the truth. You bled in silence for years, so that when fortune appeared, you could seize it without flinching. The man who is unprepared sees fortune as chaos. The man who is prepared sees fortune as confirmation. Machiavelli believed fortune ruled half of life, and the other half belonged to discipline and strategy. You cannot control the storm, but you can control whether you are ready when it hits. The creed of preparedness. Write this into yourself as law. I prepare relentlessly. I train in silence. I act without hesitation. Fortune bends to my readiness. Because luck is not given. Luck is taken by the man who never stopped preparing for the day it arrived. Chapter 11. Ruthless standards for the self. Most men demand discipline from others while excusing weakness in themselves. They talk of respect, but lie to their own word. They dream of greatness, but betray their mission daily with small compromises. This is why they fail. Machiavelli understood. A ruler who cannot command himself will never command his people. Leadership begins within. Standards must be ruthless, first against the enemy inside. The truth is brutal. The world does not destroy you. You destroy yourself. Every excuse tolerated, every goal postponed, every habit broken. These are not accidents. They are acts of betrayal, betrayal against yourself. And betrayal repeated becomes identity. The enemy within. Weakness is not outside. Weakness is inside. Laziness, fear, comfort, self-pity, these are the rebels in your kingdom. Every time you give them freedom, they grow stronger. Every time you let them rule, they enslave you. Most men negotiate with weakness. They convince themselves a skipped workout is fine, a broken promise is harmless, a wasted day is recoverable. But every act of mercy toward weakness is treason against your future. You do not negotiate with rebellion, you crush it. The power of ruthless standards. A ruthless man does not tolerate weakness in himself. He sets laws and obeys them without question. His word is iron. His actions are consistent. He becomes his own ruler, hard, exacting, relentless. If he says he will rise at dawn, he rises. If he commits to the work, it is done, no matter the mood. If he sets a standard, it is enforced without excuse. This is not cruelty. This is freedom. Because when you no longer debate with weakness, you save energy for action. Your life becomes simple, clear, non-negotiable. The law of ruthless standards. 1. Your word is law. If you say it, you do it. Break this once, and you weaken your entire foundation. 2. No excuse survives. Excuses are rebellions. Destroy them immediately. Replace them with execution. 3. Raise standards. Never lower them. Do not adjust goals to fit your comfort. Adjust yourself to fit the goal. 4. Enforce daily. Standards are not proven in grand gestures. They are proven in small, relentless actions, every hour, every day. The weight of authority. When you hold ruthless standards against yourself, something shifts. You no longer need external validation. You no longer depend on others for motivation. You live by law, your law, and the world senses it. They see the way you carry yourself. They feel the weight of your presence. Authority begins to radiate, not because you demanded it, but because you enforce it first within. No man who is careless in private will ever command respect in public. But the man who conquers himself, his time, his habits, his word, becomes unshakable. The creed of ruthless standards. Write this into yourself as law. I hold ruthless standards. My word is law. Weakness dies under my command. I never negotiate with my lower self. Because once you eliminate weakness within, nothing outside can break you. And the man who cannot be broken is the man who cannot be ruled. Chapter 12. The Untouchable Mind. The body can be broken. Wealth can be stolen. Status can be stripped. But the mind, when fortified, cannot be touched. This is the final law. This is the summit of all the others. The untouchable man is not the one who owns the most, shouts the loudest, or conquers the widest territory. He is the one who has made his mind his fortress, his weapon, his throne. Machiavelli knew that true power begins in the mind. Armies fall, rulers die, fortunes vanish, but the man who cannot be shaken in thought cannot be ruled. He is dangerous because he cannot be manipulated. He is free because he cannot be broken. The war for your mind. The modern world is not built to free you. It is built to occupy you. Every distraction, every headline, every algorithm is a weapon aimed at your attention. They do not need to chain your body, they only need to chain your focus. Most men surrender without realizing it. They let noise shape their thoughts. They let opinions dictate their identity. They let rejection poison their self-belief. They live as slaves inside their own heads. The untouchable man is different. He builds walls around his mind as others build walls around cities. He chooses what enters. He discards what weakens him. He allows no insult, no trend, no distraction to own his thoughts. His inner world is sovereign ground. The architecture of the untouchable mind. Clarity. He knows who he is and what he is building. Confusion cannot break him. Detachment. He observes emotion without being ruled by it. Triggers cannot bait him. Focus. His attention is a weapon, guarded like gold. Distractions cannot steal it. Discipline. His actions obey his laws, not his moods. Weakness cannot invade him. When these foundations are built, the mind becomes a citadel. Unreadable, unshakable, untouchable. The law of the untouchable mind. 1. Guard inner space. Not every voice deserves entry. Protect your mental gates with vigilance. 2. Think independently. Do not inherit opinions. Do not copy noise. Test everything against reason and results. 3. Detach from control. No insult, no rejection, no praise should alter your course. Others cannot steer what they cannot touch. 4. Live by internal law. Your code is your crown. You obey it before anything else. The presence of the untouchable man. The untouchable man does not need to explain himself. He does not beg to be understood. He does not flinch under criticism or glow under praise. He moves on his mission, and his stillness unsettles those around him. People whisper, "Why doesn't he react? Why can't we move him? What is he thinking?" That uncertainty is power. That unreadability is leverage. And when he acts, his actions carry the weight of inevitability. He does not scatter. He does not waver. He strikes with clarity, and the world cannot resist. The creed of the untouchable mind. Write this into yourself as the final law. My mind is untouchable. No insult can shake me. No praise can seduce me. No distraction can steal me. I am ruled by my code, and nothing owns me. Because once you build the untouchable mind, you have built everything. Power, clarity, focus, discipline, silence, respect, preparedness, all flow from this single fortress. This is the Machiavellian truth. The man who cannot be touched within cannot be defeated without. The final word. The world forgets noise. It forgets those who begged for attention, but it never forgets the man who mastered himself so deeply that no force could move him. Be that man. Rise above noise, guard your time, strike with purpose, enforce your standards, build your fortress, wear your mask, withdraw with strategy, return with results, prepare relentlessly. Detach completely. And when all is done, when the world tests you with insult, rejection, or failure, let it learn the final truth. You cannot be broken. You cannot be controlled. You cannot be touched. Your silence will echo, your focus will dominate, your mind will reign, and they will fear not what you say, but what you have become.